So these exercises are going to look at some rehab for early post-op knee recovery. Doesn't just have to be post-operative. If you've had quite an acute knee injury, or there's some arthritic changes, these are quite nice gentle exercises to keep mobility, keep a little bit of strengthening, but most importantly it's the range of movement as pain allows. So you want a ball or cushion if you've got one. And we're also going to use a sliding disc. If you haven't got a sliding disc, but you do have a wooden floor, wear a pair of socks, or you can use a plastic bag underneath your foot as well. So you're going to start onto the floor or a surface that's comfortable. Just lean back into your arms so that you can keep a lift through the upper body and your legs out in front of you. If you find that you are unable to completely straighten your knee for whatever reason, either it's restricted due to stiffness or it's painful, then just roll up a little towel so that you're keeping it at your comfortable range and you've got a little bit more support. So first off, we're going to work on your thigh muscles at the top and the front of your upper leg bones. Pull the toes up towards you on your left leg and tighten through the thigh. You want to get a feeling of lifting your kneecap towards you and pushing the back of the knee into the floor. Hold for a couple of breaths. We'll count of 3 to 5 seconds. Relax and release. And you should see the muscle bulk tighten as you maintain that contraction, and then soften and relax as you release. If there's been any significant pain for a period of time, sometimes the thigh muscles can become a little bit smaller on one leg compared to the other side, or the inner part of the thigh muscles here can atrophy and you don't find there's as much bulk when you come to contract your thigh muscles. So we'll come on to some exercises that work to strengthen the inner part of the thigh as well. Continue with your thigh contraction. Nice static movement. One more on that left side and then relax. Swap over to the right leg, so pull up the toes at the ankle, push the knee into the floor, tighten and contract. Keep that lift through the upper body as well. Try not to sink your body down towards the floor. Contract and hold, relax and release. Pull the toes up. You might find when you do your static thigh contraction that your heel lifts up off the floor. That's okay, but you want to check how high it's lifting. If you're quite hypermobile at your knees and it's lifting quite some way, just control that range of movement or start with a little towel under your knee so you're just coming to a neutral position. And by neutral we mean just keeping it as straight as you can with control, rather than going into a sort of banana shape with your foot lifting higher than your knee. One more on this side. Toes up, tighten through the thigh. You might find if your muscles are a little weaker they'll start shaking. That's quite normal as well. That will get easier as your thigh muscle strength improves. Super. Next movement, we're going to keep the legs straight. Pull the toes towards you, tighten the thigh. This time hover the foot just off the floor as high as you can, with keeping that position. Lower and relax. We're going to alternate side to side this time. So you might find on the side you've had any surgery or you've got more significant arthritic changes. It's a little bit more challenging. Perhaps your heel doesn't lift as high off the floor, or your whole leg is a little bit more shaky. That's okay. Again, this will improve as your leg muscle strength also improves. Lovely. Keep the core position as you're lifting. Again, don't sink down and collapse through the middle of the body. If you do find that your arms get a little bit uncomfortable, you could do this movement just leaning up against your sofa as well for a bit more support. Lovely. Shake the legs out a little if you need to. Give your thighs a bit of a breather. And then we're going to bring in the ball. So a cushion is fine to use if you don't have a ball, or a rolled up towel. Starting with the knee bend is the main starting point on this particular movement. Flex up at the ankle. Again, you're going to aim to push the knee into the ball, tighten through the thigh, and you can see with that bend in the knee, you get a little bit more range at the knee joint to straighten the leg. Again, if you are hypermobile, don't overextend. You almost want to feel like you're under tightening those thigh muscles. If it's particularly sore and you can only go half range, that's fine. Work within a comfortable range, but keep good central trunk stability as you're doing your leg exercises. Lovely. Exhale, lift, hold, lower and release. Lovely. One more on this side. Super. And then we'll change over to work the other leg. Again, you might find you've got a little bit more mobility one side than the other. That's okay. Pull up at the ankle, tighten through the thigh. Inhale, exhale, lower. Nice thing about working with the leg on your ball, it just gives you a little bit more balance challenge as well. Try not to let the thigh move too much side to side. One more repetition. Excellent. And relax. I'm going to bring the ball back into the first side, and keeping the heel dug into the floor, you're just going to push the knee into the ball and then relax. So there's a slight depression, slight flattening of the ball, but you're not aiming to lift your heel up with that one, so your heel will slide a little away from the body. Nice controlled movement. Don't let the pelvis roll side to side. Keep your non-exercised leg relaxed. One more. Lovely. Change over to work the other side. So support the body with the arms, lift through the trunk, keep the heel on the floor, press the back of the knee into the ball, aiming to squash the ball. Lift through the chest, don't let the body start to drop backwards if your trunk muscles are fatiguing. Again, lean up against the sofa if you need a little bit more support. Often we get asked whether these sorts of exercises are okay to do on your bed. If getting on and off the floor can be difficult, and they can be okay as long as it's not too soft. You still want to get the good work through the thigh muscles without sinking down into your mattress. Last one. Excellent. Remove the ball for a moment. We're going to work the inside thigh muscles, what we call your VMO, and that's the oblique inner part of your thigh muscle that comes into the top part of your kneecap. So on your left leg, turn the leg out to the side from your hip socket, so the whole thigh and shin is rotating outwards, and you want to feel like the focus is on the inner part of the lower thigh. Flex at the ankle, tighten through the thigh, and then lift up towards the ceiling, lower, and relax the thigh and the foot. Pull the toes up, tighten through the thigh, lift, hold, relax and lower. It will be a little harder. You might find your thigh shakes start a little sooner, but that's okay. What you're aiming for is that it's not painful. If it's shaky and hard work, then you just need to keep on going and that will improve. Lovely. One more this side. Flex of the ankle, tighten the thigh, lift from the inner part of the knee. Same sort of movement you'd do if you were standing up and going in to kick a football. Swapping to work the other leg, rotate out from the hip joint, flex at the ankle, tighten through the thigh, lift through the inner part of the thigh. Hold, relax and lower. Do let the foot and ankle flop. Don't hold that tension throughout the whole of the movement. Flex, rotate, tighten the thigh, lift, hold, keep that rotation. Again, it doesn't have to be a massive height off the floor. Keep that stability through the middle trunk. One more. Tighten, lift, hold, lower and relax. Again, just shake out the legs a little. Want to bring in your plastic bag or your sliding disc for the next part and find a patch of floor where you've got a little bit of movement. So one leg at a time, bring the legs into a knee bend. Again, if it's a little uncomfortable on one of your knees, by all means keep it straight. We'll have one down and our exercising leg will be bent to begin with. Support the upper body with your hands. Keep square on, so you're fixed on the floor, but try not to drop the body backwards and keep the pressure even through your hands. Take a breath in and you're going to exhale, slide the leg down, flex at the ankle, tighten the thigh, draw back up. Again, with your knee movement, if there's a stiff point, tightness, just come up to that point. Don't be tempted to start to lift your hip and pelvis. So pull and relax, back down. If you've got a dressing gown cord or a towel, or even a piece of TheraBand, you can loop that around your leg and just facilitate that pull in to increase the knee bend. Up, smooth movement within your comfortable range. You might find as you go with the movement that your mobility very gradually starts to become more comfortable and you can bring your heel a little closer towards your bottom. Again, don't let the hip hike upwards, keep that hip pulling down. One more. And then we'll change over to work the other leg. So lift up through the body, exhale, bend, inhale, stretch away, if you find it's particularly uncomfortable and you've been given any pain relief to help post-operatively or with your symptoms, it's a good idea to take the advice of your GP so that you can exercise as comfortably as possible and maximise the movement without being inhibited by your pain. Lovely, two more. Lovely, well done.